I would say a lot of the time, the tweak is really in the fat. Like I try to do lean proteins and add like fats with like cheese and more fun ways to add fat. Um, or like in my baked goods, like a peanut butter or nut butter, that's going to taste better than necessarily, anyway, so I do definitely try to like tweak fats in my recipe. So I do focus on lean proteins. Um, and that makes it a little bit easier so you're not going crazy. I'm not a calorie person, but so you're not going crazy high on calories necessarily. Because I think some recipes will be keto, so it's low carb and blood sugar friendly, but then we're really, really going overboard on our fats and our protein's not quite high enough. For me personally, I feel my best with the high protein. So I'll even some days get like 140 grams in a day, but I don't really count every day. And like you said, like if I'm not as hungry one day and get like 80, that's no big deal. Like I think it's what you do most consistently. So like, yeah, but it's the 100, 120 grams a day is kind of like a feel good range. But I feel like I don't even do snacks. I'm kind of like you. I know sometimes you do 2 meals a day. I always see your stories and I like seeing your meals and stuff. But I pretty much do 3 meals a day, no snacks. I fast a little. I don't do that every day either, but I feel like um if you really are getting like that 40 grams of protein per meal, it just kind of makes it doable. So for me to not be overwhelmed with the daily number, I think just focusing per meal. So with putting these recipes together, I'm just like, how can we make it 30 to 40 grams of protein without being a million calories? So like, veggies, non-starchy veggies and leaner protein so that the fat's not crazy high. Kind of my
Yeah.
tweak.
Yeah. 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 That's a great way to start at least. And
Mm-hmm.
go from there. And I agree. Like I've done higher fat, like I've focused on fat for a while and I just didn't feel good as good. Like I almost felt like a little heavier,
Mm-hmm.
like a little lethargic. And I think most women probably do feel better if they're going to follow a ketogenic approach, the higher protein and not going overboard on the fat for sure. I find.
Yeah, and it's always individual, but I'm the same. I don't think I digest a lot of fat well, but I am really passionate about like breaking your fast, that first meal being high protein, high fat, not high fat, but having some fat because I feel like that balance, like, it just makes a difference for those cravings all day. It makes a difference for cravings. Like if you skip fat at breakfast, you're gonna have those carb cravings in the afternoon because it needs fat. You don't crave the fat, you crave carbs.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I love my smoothies. I do love smoothies and the collie bowls and all. I love to do a supplement with a protein powder for breakfast for me personally, just because I have a sweet tooth. And I feel like eggs don't make me as full. I don't know why. I love eggs, but I'd rather have them at lunch, or dinner. And so that's just kind of my biggie with like I do make sure I have like avocado or 2 full tablespoons of the nut butter in my smoothie just to make sure I have enough fat at that first meal and fiber and protein and all the things. But then the rest of the day, like lunch might be really lean. It might just be cottage cheese and just like one whole egg.
Yeah.
Like so not a whole lot of fat the other meals necessarily, but I do really focus on fat for the first meal. But it was just funny how that you kind of tweak and learn as you go with your body feedback
Yeah.
and what makes you feel your best.
Yeah. And like you said, everybody's different. Where I feel I eat 3 eggs almost every morning, but I also eat
Mm-hmm.
like some macadamia nuts for some extra fat,
Mm-hmm.
some cheese
Mm-hmm.
or something along those lines. But if I eat that, I'm full for like 4 to 5 hours, like a long time. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's 1 o'clock. And I'm to the point, I feel like when you really knock out that first meal and make it high protein and regulate your blood sugar, that is when the appetite suppression and the appetite
Mm-hmm.
really comes into play because I swear when I used to eat higher carb breakfast, it would be like 2 to 3 hours. I'm hungry. I'm like,
You're starving. I would be like, it's
what's wrong with
10:30. Why
me?
am I starving? Or like I just had breakfast. I know. When used to do, I would have every day was a banana and 1 tablespoon of almond butter. Like when I was in that bad cycle, that was my breakfast. So I was having like 7 grams of protein I was like, no wonder I ate the whole pantry at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But I didn't know, but it was Whole30. I mean, so that's where it's confusing. So the balance matters, the blood sugar balance and the high protein, not necessarily just healthy food or
Yeah.
clean food. I think that balance makes a huge difference, the nutrient balance.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because yeah, you can follow a paleo diet, you can follow a Whole30 diet, you can eat very, very clean and still have severe blood sugar dysregulation
Yes.
and the blood sugar swings and the spikes and the highs and the lows and not ever feeling full.